This is Bad Movies We Love, part of the Shice Podcast Network.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Hello, Bad Movie lovers, and welcome to Bad Movies We Love. I am your host, Nick Scheist.
The master of this stupid stuff!
There has been a lot of serious stuff going on, so I've been burning the candle at both ends, and I burned my immune system out in the process, which you can probably hear in the quality of my voice. That's why this episode and a couple of other January slated episodes are a bit delayed. We've still got the new rom-comathon on the Family Stone. We've still got the first Bad Movies Monthly. And there's still Bad Movies We Love Best of 2025 that's going to be rolling over from January. And then we keep the tradition of tackling horror movies alive in February. But release dates are going to vary as I recover. So the best way to make sure that you're up to date with the show is to make sure you subscribe or follow on your podcast platform of choice. So that way you get notified when the new episodes are out. This episode was one of those rollover episodes from January, as my wife Christen is back on the main show for the first official On the Bubble pick, and coincidentally, another movie dealing with inattentive parents, as we take a look back at the Disney Channel TV movie, Not Quite Human, from 1987. Icebreaker question, who do you want a human centipede with?
Yeah, that wasn't great, but at the time when it was released, it was perfect and gold.
Hey, I built a robot, son. Cool!
It's interesting you're pointing this out.
Oh my god, Chip. You're so amazing.
And we still need to watch the next two movies, I think.
On the Disney Sunday movie,
He's a solid 17-year-old state-of-the-art all-American boy.
a scientist has just come up with his greatest invention.
Hi, Dad.
Alan Thicke creates the ultimate kid, but he's not quite human someday.
I am joined for this special additional episode by my wife, Christen. Hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
We're doing the first bubble pick for Bad Movies We Love. So this is the first movie that technically falls outside. Well, I guess it's not really the first. It's just the first that we're officially recognizing as a movie that scores higher than a 6 out of 10 Bad Movies We Love aggregate. And it happens to be a TV movie from 1987. It was your recommendation, so we made a whole allotment, based a whole new sort of show idea around allowing movies in this this scoring bubble to be allowed on the show.
Yes, I feel like it's barely outside the bubble, but it is there.
We'll take a look at the score shortly when we get to the tail of the tape, but this is a question I started asking people recently, because a lot of people have come on the show and I've never asked this question, which I feel like is a good question, because a lot of the time when it's somebody new, you kind of want a little background information, but I realized I was not really getting that from people. Like when I talk to podcasters and stuff, they talk about the show and how that started, but not really about like how they got into movies or anything like that. So the question that I sort of formulated and started asking was, what was the first time where you watched a movie and you knew you were watching a bad movie, but you still just understood that you liked it anyway? Like, when did that awareness happen?
That's a good question, actually.
It is. Thank you.
You're
I've
welcome.
gotten compliments on it recently, so you're not the only one.
That's kind of a tricky question, though. I would say well, I feel like I'm a little not biased, but I feel like I've got a little bit of hindsight clouding this answer. So from a movie, like rewatching some of these movies recently, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that wasn't great. But at the time when it was released, it was perfect and gold for the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I have an answer for that, to be honest. Because I don't think until like movie education with you, I would say in the last 10 years, I don't think I ever approached a movie being like, oh my God, I love this, but it's a bad movie. Because if I loved the movie, then I'm like, it's a good movie because I loved it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think there's value to be had, and I think it's two different questions, because I'm not saying that like, oh, you need to feel guilty about liking something bad, or, and the term guilty pleasures gets thrown around, and I don't feel guilt about watching the bad stuff that I watch. I think for me, I just talked about this recently. I grew up watching, 1960s era Godzilla stuff, where I'm like, yeah, these are guys in rubber suits, and you can see the strings, and like, I think at the time, especially them being dubbed in English, I was like, these are not good, but I don't really care. I love the monster fighting so much that it sort of excuses a lot of that. But then it's like I liked Three Ninjas and a lot of sort of like made for kids movies that I can fairly say that this movie is not what I would say is a movie of high quality. But I think there is value that comes from just enjoying something regardless. And so when it comes down to like, oh, I love this movie, therefore it's good, I think for me, it's like, I love this, therefore it has value. That value doesn't necessarily mean it's a movie of good quality, but the value is still just something that I can take from it regardless.
Yeah, that's true. I still don't think that's been my mindset in a lot of movies because, I mean, even growing up, I grew up watching more TV shows than I did movies.
So nothing has changed.
But it's why I like TV shows are easier for me. Not easier, but it's why my go-to is a TV show versus a movie. But I would say in hindsight, from a rewatch standpoint, probably Model Behavior.
Yeah, that makes sense. It fits, I think, the mold of was that also a Disney Channel
It
movie?
was.
Yeah.
Like all the Disney Channel made for TV movies, which they don't do anymore. I mean, they do to a certain degree, but it's not the same. Like those original 80s and 90s movies were really the meat of that genre.
I mean, they knew their audience, and they knew how to
Sure
make
did.
a competent movie for the at-home TV movie kid audience. And, there's something to be said for that. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It just is a thing. And Model Behavior is like, yeah, is it bad? I don't know. For what it's trying to do, I would say it's not the worst thing I've seen. I also think, like, is the acting good? No, not really. Is the writing good? No, not really. Is the story good? No, not really. Is it, like, shot exceedingly well? No, not really. So it doesn't really, like, achieve sort of, like, cinematic levels of excellence. But for a movie that's sort of like a weird Freaky Friday, Parent Trap kind of movie,
Yeah.
where Justin Timberlake is playing a very sort of childish role for him, like very early in his acting career. Maggie Lawson is a teen star kind of actress at that point. Like, the movie's not asking them to do heavy lifting in any of those departments, and it's not trying to do heavy lifting in any of those departments. So it can be a success and be what it wants to be without having to sort of engage in, I guess, like cinematic debates over its quality. Like, it's not that kind of a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's what I was exposed to growing up at the same time. So
Yeah. That's fair. It's like the first movie that I sort of was obsessed with was The Wizard of Oz. And I don't remember watching it as much as I'm told that I watched it, but I watched it like a lot. Over and over and over again. You've seen that picture of me as the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it up on the page, the Insta page during Halloween. And that was like my sisters made me the costume. That wasn't one that I made myself or my parents made for me. So they knew I was obsessed with it because I forced them to watch it or to let me watch it. But like The Wizard of Oz is a good movie. It's a classic film. It is a movie that like has its place in film history for the things that it achieved, like technically, you know. So that for me was like, I don't know if it's good or bad. It's just like what I was sort of raised on. But then like, yeah, and comparing it to like Godzilla and Ultraman and the kind of like kaiju stuff out of Japan in the 60s and 70s that I was getting exposed to on sort of like Saturday TV, I was like, oh yeah, like this is kind of junk, but it is fun.
Yeah, I think the other one that I can think of from like an earlier age would be the Neverending Story series.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a bad movie though.
I
It's been a
wouldn't
while since
either.
I've seen it.
I wouldn't either. I mean, I loved it and I was obsessed with it and watched
Traumatized
it.
our generation.
Yeah, religiously, but it was terrifying and traumatizing.
Say my name.
Excuse me, but I think, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to think on that question a little bit more. But I think because I was raised and grew up mostly with TV shows, the movie introduction or like being more aware of watching more movies came later. I mean, I was really young when I was able to watch Dirty Dancing. And that Dirty Dancing and Grease were the two movies I remember the most on repeat. But I also wouldn't look at those and be like, oh, these are bad movies.
Yeah, I don't think either of those are bad movies.
No, they're classics. But now I'm like, I can't believe my mom let me watch this at the age I was watching this with my younger cousins on repeat.
Yeah, those are the ones that fell through the cracks where your mom wasn't like paying attention to the themes.
No, I think both of our sets of parents were banking on us not understanding it, which was true because when I didn't watch it for a while and then I rewatched it as an adult, I had a lot of the moments of like, wow, they let us watch this, but I didn't connect the dots at the early enough age. It was more about the singing and the dancing for me on both movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what those movies are and part of their charm, I think. You know, I saw RoboCop when I was like 4 years old.
Yeah, we had different movie exposure experiences, remember?
Yeah, I remember showing RoboCop, the Criterion DVD. I had like a portable DVD player. Sorry to everyone that's listening, like, what the hell? You guys are not talking about the movie at all yet. We will. It's going to come full circle, I promise you.
Trim this down a little, I guess.
No, it's fine. If they're listening, they already know the spiel. They know we're going to be gabbing a little bit before we get started. But I showed somebody RoboCop, a friend of mine in high school, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is so violent." And I was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm surprised I have watched this. I watched this, you know, as a very young child and cried watching RoboCop because yeah, it is super violent." And my mom made fun of me for crying. It's like he's getting impaled. Yeah, it's very traumatizing. I'm sorry that my child like tears are hilarious to you at this moment, but I do love RoboCop. It's still one of my favorite movies to this day for the things that it achieves that don't even point back to my childhood. But to bring it full circle, like I promised, we are talking about a made-for-TV
childhood movie,
Disney movie. But it's your pick, so do the honors.
Yes, we watched Not Quite Human. This was another series that I had on repeat as a kid. And it's interesting because this one came out in 87 and then the others were in the 90s. So to be honest, I can't remember, did I actually watch this at 3 years old? Probably not. And when the other ones came out, I probably watched all of them, but I remember having them on VHS after watching it on the Disney Channel.
One of the comments I saw said, always on the Disney Channel.
Yep, it was always on. It was so comforting when they would repeat movies.
And it was weird because like I was a Nickelodeon kid. My sisters grew up more so on Disney Channel, but I was watching Nickelodeon, which wasn't really about original movies as much as it was shows.
Like what? Do you remember? I mean, I watched Nickelodeon too, but I primarily watched Disney, I think.
Yeah, at the time, like Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really watch that.
Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah, I didn't really watch that either, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, then there was also like Hey Dude. And
I watched Hey Dude. And
there was another one, Salute Your Shorts.
Oh, yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah.
And isn't that when Double Dare came on.
Double Dare. What's it called? Was it called Guts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I don't know if that was
Nickelodeon?
I don't know if it was, but I did watch a lot of Legends of the Hidden Temple. I think they actually brought it back briefly as like an adult game show within the last couple of years, but I never did watch it.
Yeah.
I've graduated to Physical 100 / Physical Asia, which we got to get caught up on.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Physical Asia. We're here to talk about Not Quite Human from 1987. So I'm going to just take a look at the details real quick. This movie was directed by Stephen Hillard Stern, written by Alan Ormsby, based on the novels by Seth McEvoy. Stars Jay Underwood, Alan Thicke, Robyn Lively as our primary three, and the villain, Joseph Bologna. I don't know, it's spelled like Bologna, but hi, I'm Joseph Bologna. I wouldn't want that to be my actor
Stage name.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's like, hey, look at this gabagool. I recognize Jay Underwood. I recognize Alan Thicke. This was me learning that Robyn Lively is related to Blake Lively.
Which blows my mind because, I guess not if you didn't grow up watching these movies, because these movies are why I know who Robyn Lively is. And why when Blake Lively entered the scene, I knew who Blake Lively was.
Yeah, I was watching this. I was like, is this Blake Lively's mom? And
So sad.
look, that is a fair question because this is 1987. I have no awareness of how old Blake Lively is. She's probably close to our age, to be honest. She's probably in her early 40s or late 30s. So it would make sense that she was born around this time. But yeah. You know what? See, I don't. Maybe it was just because when watching the movie, we were watching it in like 480p. Like the quality
was very clear. Yeah,
this was like a VHS recording of the movie when it was on TV because it's not like it's just available on Disney right now. It's not available streaming anywhere, so we had to go to the good old reliable internet to watch it. And fortunately, it was readily available on the internet.
It makes me sad that these original classic Disney Channel things are not on Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, it was especially given that like when they launched Disney Plus, the whole thing was like, oh, we need original content. It's like, you guys have original content.
Yeah.
Just release it from the vault and put it on. And they've been very protective about what's been on the streaming service. So not entirely like shocking to see that it's not there, but annoying nonetheless.
I do think it's funny that, you didn't even really recognize her that it was Robyn Lively at first.
No, I don't know who Robyn Lively is. I do now.
That's funny.
What else has she done?
She's done a bunch of things.
A bunch of other TV movies is not going to be helpful to me, though.
I don't know about just TV movies.
Okay, she was in Wildcats. I've seen Wildcats. She was in Karate Kid 3, but like I wouldn't be able to pick that out of a hat, you know. Through the Glass Darkly, I think we saw that in 2020, but I don't know, I'm just browsing. Not stuff that I typically would have seen. I see video game, TV. So she's a TV actress. Most likely not going to be familiar to me, and that maybe is what happened.
And that's why she is to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like earlier today, you were watching something and you're like, hey, look. And I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? He's like some side character in a TV show that I have only recently started watching from 20 years ago.
Not 20 years ago. Is it really 20
2006. It's 2026, babe.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Damn.
Exactly. So
Wow.
even if I would have recognized him as a younger man, there's no way. I thought it was Julian Edelman, but nope.
No.
Nope. Anyway, let's go to the tail of the tape, and we'll take a look at the ratings for this movie. It has an IMDb of 6.1, Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 38%, however, has a Google users rating of 96% thumbs up.
Wow.
So most people that have rated this on Google are pro.
It's making a comeback.
Not Quite Human. Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, Google's like sort of Facebook in that way. But it also has a letterbox of 2.9, which for letterbox I feel is respectable. Like, yes, that's only a 58 out of 100, but honestly, letterbox is for like probably the stingiest of movie raters because it's an app dedicated specifically to diaries and ratings of movies. So I feel like 2.9 is solid. Like if it were 3, I think that would safely be like, oh, Letterboxd thinks this movie is good. So it's close enough. But there's only a few resources to pull scores from, and it ends up giving us a Bad Movies We Love total score of 63.25 out of 100. So a couple of points and a fraction over the threshold that we're typically looking at. And really, I've done movies that are in like the mid 60s, like 65, 66. And to me, I'm just like, whatever, it's my show.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's even on Letterboxd.
Everything's on Letterboxd.
Okay. I mean, like we were talking about last night, this really was a movie ahead of its time, if you think about it.
Yeah, I think to some degree, for sure. I think what the movie is doing with the idea that's happening doesn't really... It doesn't have the foresight to look at where we're at now. The movie isn't even trying to do that. The movie's not like, hey, this is the dangers of like an artificial intelligence program and trying to humanize it. That's not what this movie's about. This movie's like, hey, I built a robot son. Cool. He's going to school now. Like, that's what this movie is, and you're going to love him. Whereas, like, if this movie was made today, it's probably a horror movie, or at least a thriller, where the robot tries to kill everybody, right? So...
yeah, it's representing innocence.
Yeah, but that being said, there was some interesting stuff. I feel like, I don't know if the books maybe did a better job on expanding on it, or if the tone of the books was similar to that, like, oh, this is more of like a zany adventures, because it's a young adult novel series. It's not Michael Crichton or something writing this. But like the dad just feels super not involved, even though it's like all his idea. He's like, whatever, just go to school and good luck. Sorry, daughter, this is now your responsibility. So there's a lot of stuff where I felt thematically it kind of misses the mark, but I'm also looking at it, 40 almost years down the line. Like, maybe I'm judging it too harshly. It's not like I didn't have fun with it. I think I would have liked to see some other things happen with the movie, but let me take a moment here, set the table for the audience. So there wasn't a ton of production notes, but Not Quite Human is the first film in the Not Quite Human trilogy of Disney films based on the young adult book series by Seth McEvoy. Filmed in Scottsdale and Phoenix, Arizona, Not Quite Human debuted on the Disney Channel on June 19th, 1987. The film received 2 out of 5 stars by Creature Feature, which called it undistinguished fodder, but it did successfully spawn a trilogy series, and we are talking about it on this show. So it's not entirely forgotten. The fact that it, like you said, not the fact that it's on Letterboxd, because Letterboxd has everything, but the fact that there's a lot of reviews of it on Letterboxd, I think, is maybe more surprising. And because there is no Metascore for this, when we go to Critics Corner, we're actually going to be looking at some of the reviews directly from Letterboxd itself. And, I wish there was more production notes, because I want to know more about the creation side of this to maybe ask some of those questions. Because something like Small Wonder came out in 1985, which was the same year that the books Not Quite Human were written, or at least published. So I'm curious if Small Wonder somehow like read the books, didn't want to give credit to that, sort of beat them to the punch and did the TV show. But at the same time, like, it's a roboticist who builds this robot in Vicky and then brings the robot home to live with the family to like learn how to be more human. So there's kind of like almost the same thing at play, but I think in both shows, or excuse me, in both properties, the robot is still sort of treated as like a vehicle for comedy, right? There's almost no ethical consideration for what is happening. It's like both movies are just like, oh yeah, this makes total sense and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this idea. Whereas 40 years down the line and we're seeing what AI is doing and just realizing that, oh yeah, there's a lot of moral and ethical implications that come into play when dealing with artificial intelligence, not just from a resource consumption perspective where we're looking at these massive data centers being built and consuming a ton of water. Zuckerberg wants to build one the size of Manhattan, like, asshole.
I think though it scratches the surface on it though a little bit, and we still need to watch the next two movies. I think.
Lord. Okay.
Because I think they're setting it, or again, in hindsight, right? At the time, we would have had no idea to have this kind of thought process at this point, but with the villain of the story trying to steal the robot that works for a toy company, he's talking about wanting to steal it for bad reasons and to do bad things with the technology. So, like I said, I think it scratches the surface. It wraps up this first movie with that kind of being a little bit of a cliffhanger. And maybe we see more of that in the other movies, but I do feel like it kind of starts to play with those ideas. But we needed to do the origin story, so to speak, I guess, of how he comes to be. And something that I, of course, didn't pick up on as a kid, but maybe had a little bit more awareness of now is that there's also the story of him doing this in a sense to fill a void with grief of losing his wife, that they also just kind of scratch the surface of that storyline too, you know?
Yeah, probably should have built himself a wife rather than building his
another kid.
Child a brother. Yeah. So there's a lot of that stuff that we'll get into, but because you touched on it, yes, the villain in this story, well, almost like he still played very comically by Bologna. Sorry, buddy.
I still think he was in Greece, and I don't know why he doesn't have the credit for it.
His character is, yes, the owner of like a toy company that has basically a secret deal with the military to produce weapons. And so I feel like that's actually fairly prescient and intelligent in the context of how we see companies that are like wholesome family companies like GE, you know, like here, the light bulb that you put in there, but also like the tactical Tomahawk missile, like kind of thing. So it is interesting that the movie has like the wherewithal to start to have that conversation, but that's ultimately like not the focus of the movie. And then you talk about grief a little bit as well. And it's almost like, yeah, the dead wife card is sort of like, I don't know, it's thrown around a little bit haphazardly. Like, what would make sense for this world? And then, okay, he's got a dead wife. But I'm like, wait a second, your answer to helping your daughter grieve is to like stay in the basement by yourself building another child? And like, I'm sure your daughter feels really awesome about that. One of the reviews I read was pretty funny. It was like, man, that daughter handled it a lot better than I would have if my dad was building an artificial child to deal with his grief. And he doesn't like, the dad doesn't even frame it as like a thing of grief, right? It's like just his work and him shifting the burden of that work onto his daughter. And then he's not even the one who really has to like reconcile that he's placed this upon his daughter. It's more Chip who has to actually deal with her emotions surrounding the situation. And yeah, the movie doesn't have the intellectual language to get into a lot of those corners. So I find it interesting that it's even set up that way at all, because it doesn't have to be. It's like, I get like Alan Thicke in the 80s, you know, popular, everybody's sort of like American Dad kind of thing going on, but he has such like a strange role in this film where this is his life's work. He really wants the kid to evolve into like a human-like person. Like, so the question that they're asking about artificial intelligence is, can you teach an artificial intelligence to behave like a human, to like understand human emotion and humor and context and all of those nuances of what it means to be human. Can you teach a computer system to understand those things and to adapt? That is like the core tenet of his experiment. But he also, like, throughout, after he makes Chip, he's kind of just like, whatevs. Like, I'm not really interested in seeing where this experiment goes. Like, he just enrolls him in high school very haphazardly. He puts his daughter in charge of him. Like, you're the one who's got to watch out for your brother now. Like, he doesn't actually do much in the way of teaching Chip anything. He's kind of like very hands off after he makes him. And it's a very like Frankenstein kind of thing. And oddly enough, like the first words that hit the screen on the trailer are like Frankenstein created a monster or something like that. We'll look at it in a little bit, but like I just, having recently seen Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and revisiting the sort of like the creation and the monster and the responsibility of the creator to try to like imbue some ethical principles on the thing that you made. We're seeing that with stuff like OpenAI too, where it's like, Grok, right? It's like people are telling Grok, like, hey, take this, here's a picture of this woman, take her clothes off. And Grok's like, sure thing. So like, yeah, the ethical and moral quandaries that come with creating intelligence that's capable of things without actually giving it like guidance on those things. I think those are real questions that were kind of addressed and were surprising to me when we started watching this movie. It's like, oh, they were obviously thinking about this back in the 80s, but they probably didn't think that we would be here in 40 years.
Or did they?
Maybe they did. Did you prepare a synopsis haiku?
I did.
All right, well, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Sure.
Ready?
Yes.
Teenage robot boy learning to be a human, a son and brother.
Okay. Yeah.
Meh.
I mean, like, for this movie, it's kind of tough.
It was hard.
It took me a while to do it for this movie. Sometimes I try to feel like inspired when I'm watching the movie and just get it out, but this wasn't one of those. Okay, here we go. Robot boy wonder. Dad neglects his daughter's needs. This toy does not play.
All right, I think that was better.
I've had practice.
Fair.
But yes, I feel like the dad is very much neglecting his daughter in this movie. And I don't know if that's a theme of all the movies that we are going to end up talking about when you come on the show, because it happened with Jingle All the Way as well, except for he was neglecting his son in that case, and his wife to some degree. Oh, to which I got shit for in the Apple Podcast reviews, because he said that Schwarzenegger's character was the mattress CEO.
Oh,
so
yeah.
therefore it excuses the fact that he's like not paying attention to his family.
No, I mean, I think like we've talked about, I think probably when we did Jingle All the Way, if I remember correctly, or another movie, maybe it was Hook. It was kind of the theme of this generation, like us growing up during these times and the adults during these times. It was just kind of like
not naming names.
Not naming names, but you know, the general theme is being portrayed in these movies for a reason. I think it was a generational thing. No blame or fault on anything, but the common theme in a lot of these movies from this time is exactly that for a reason. And you can also say to Alan Thicke, his character in this story, like, of course, he doesn't know how to handle his grief. He doesn't know how to take care of his daughter with the grief. So what's the best way to distract him from both of those things? Build a robot and let the robot help the daughter with her grief? You know, like...
Yeah. No, I think
you know?
I think that is sort of like his character trajectory, but he's not like... He doesn't even seem to be aware of it, right? Like,
of course not.
I understand, like, the dad buries himself in work to get away from the fact that his wife died. I understand not really understanding how to help your daughter, so wanting to build the robot to help her with her grief, but there isn't even an awareness on his part that his daughter is grieving.
Yeah, it's a poor coping mechanism generation or situation.
Well, if you ever catch me building an AI robot, just
be concerned.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, again, it's what that generation probably learned and knew as well. And, it's why all the Disney movies of our time are so depressing too, with the parents or the matriarch or patriarchs of the family dying or like going off and leaving the kids behind. Like, that's a general theme in a lot of those movies.
It is. And when, we talk about something like Hook, like Spielberg is very famously sort of interested in talking about divorce in his films. I think he was the product of divorce, or at least marital trouble.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and watch that movie again.
What was it?
I don't even remember.
It was good. Michelle Williams.
Yeah. I remember the movie. I don't remember the
movie
title.
about his life, right?
Yeah. It's like called like The Filmmaker now, The Fablemans.
Mm.
Close enough. But yeah, like he obviously like found a fascination with that and started talking about that. And then he was one of the formative directors of like our childhood. So it's not really surprising that those themes sort of permeated, I think, the rest of pop culture as well. And I'm sure that he wasn't the only one that was going through some of those things as well.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even a bad thing either, because it made it relatable, for one. Two, it probably helped not normalize, but kind of normalize, like, this is a general theme, or this is a common theme, to where there isn't as much, isolation in it, and there's more like other people are going through it, just similar to how different themes playing out today or within the last 10 or 20 years. We see the trends based on what's going on too, because it's easy to relate. And so people don't feel alone. Just like we talk about all the time when we watch This Is Us,
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a reason that This Is Us sort of had the grip on the audience that it did. Even a friend who I would never have expected to watch This Is Us, like, told me, he's like, yeah, I'd get together with my mom and, we'd have like a glass of wine and watch and we'd cry. And I'm like, oh,
wow.
It's very sort of like emotionally present for you, where I've never experienced that from you in our friendship.
You can tell me who after.
Yeah, I will. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to speculate and hazard a guess as to why this movie is not really widely considered a quote unquote bad movie, but why is it in the bubble? Why does it only have a 63.25?
I mean, I would say it's probably closely related to the age of the movie. I don't think rating movies when we were kids was like it is now. And I don't know how many people, although again, I'm curious of how many, what are they? Are they comments or posts about this movie on Letterboxd? There are, but I don't know that there is a big pull for people to rewatch these movies now, especially because it's so hard to find. It's not on streaming. You can't buy it on DVD, so where people of our generation who grew up with these movies showing it to their kids now would make sense, but it's not very attainable, or it's not like accessible. So I don't know that if it had more accessibility, if more people would jump to rush to rate it, but I think it's in that kind of gray area because there hasn't been enough what do you call it?
What is the word that you're looking for?
Visibility, I think. If you open up any streaming service these days, it's constantly flashing at you things you should watch, or new to Netflix or new to Hulu. And a lot of the times they are older movies. But when you open any of those streaming services, especially Disney Plus, where this was a Disney Channel original, just like we couldn't find Model Behavior pretty much, you can't see this anywhere. So I don't feel like there's enough opportunity for people to think, oh, I should watch this, or I should show this to my kids, and then let me go rate it.
Yeah, there's probably also not a huge amount of demand for it either. But you never know.
And how do you know if you don't even make it accessible?
I don't. You're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a lot of demand, and maybe we'll see some of that. But let's take a look at the trailer back in 1987, and we'll see what this movie was being advertised as. Before we get to the trailer, it's time for a quick commercial from the multiverse. Grief is complicated and doesn't operate in a straight line. Sometimes you cry alone in your bedroom, and sometimes you build a robot child in the basement to distract yourself. Emotional wounds need proper support for healing too. That's why the minds at Vogeltech created Grief Glue, a metaphysical bond that holds your family together during times of heightened emotional stress. Unlike traditional glues, Grief Glue doesn't come in a bottle or a handheld applicator that you can just use at your convenience. No, Grief Glue goes the extra mile by putting an entire emotional bandage around your home. And unlike most tent and treat services, there's no need to get a hotel room because the full-scale application only takes a couple of hours. So call today and schedule your free consultation. Price and time of completion vary by square footage. Vogeltech is not responsible for feelings of grief that may occur outside the home. When grief has you in its clutches, get the glue that holds it all together. Grief Glue. And now, back to the show.
First, Dr. Frankenstein created a monster. Now, Alan Thicke has created a son.
Hi, Dad. Hi. Son?
The Carson family has a strange new addition.
Who's he?
And even though he's not quite human, he's ready to take on the world.
Heavily awesomely radical, dude.
Starting with high school.
Hey, if he can survive high school, he can survive anything.
We are going to the principal's office, mister. Now march!
Oh, you're so cool. You are amazing. You really are.
But when his secret falls into the wrong hands,
Let's steal the android.
he'll need all the superhuman strength he can muster.
If the wrong people ever got a hold of him, they could turn him into something dangerous.
I plan to build a whole army of fighting men.
Joe Bologna, Jay Underwood, and Alan Thicke star in the high-tech hijinks of Not Quite Human from Walt Disney Home Video.
So it is Bologna.
It is Bologna, and interesting, he was the main title name.
Yeah, he's not listed that way on IMDb, but I mean, like, yeah, he's the villain of the movie. I think he's got a...
I know. And they did not say Robyn Lively.
Wow. Get out of here.
Weird.
Yeah, because I think structurally, like, from the characters, like, obviously she's part of the family and she plays a big role. Her supporting role is just sort of under... she's got a bigger role than Robyn Thicke, in my opinion, but, like, he has to get top billing because of who he is.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, sorry, spoiler alert, I think she gets phased out a little bit. I don't think it's in the second movie. I think it's in the third. Because I feel like I remember being very upset by that.
Well, the movie's 40 years old, so don't worry about spoiling anything for anybody.
Fair. I meant for you.
Oh, for the rest of the series?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I think one thing that the trailer shows that we don't see a ton of is like cool stuff that a robot boy can theoretically do. Right? Like the primary joke is that like he's awkward. That like he takes everything very literally. And that sort of like it makes him popular, but it also makes him a nerd. Like, I don't think Kristy Swanson's going to watch him be a nerd in this movie and be like, oh my God, he's so cool.
But does that resonate with you because you're so literal?
What?
Like, Mr. Literal?
I understand the difference, though.
Okay. You're also kind of a nerd, which I love. But you know what I mean? It's interesting you're pointing this out. That's all I'm saying.
It's like the movie is a comedy, right? And so the primary delivery vehicle for the comedy is like cross your fingers, and then he crosses all his fingers. Like he can't figure, and then it's like another joke like that, and another joke like that, and another joke like that, and it's just dun dun dun, dun just like so repetitive where for me, I'm like, you made an android who's super strong, and there's a scene that they show in the trailer here where it's not a coffin, but like he's nailing a box closed, and he's just like slamming his hand to to knock the nails. And I'm like, that's what we need more of. Like, let's see him being actually, super powered a little bit. And at least from what I read about the novels focus more on him being wrongly accused of crimes, which is kind of
interesting,
strange, but interesting. And then a lot of the robot stuff is kind of like internal. Like granted, I'm sure the budget for this isn't insane. You can't do like too many crazy special effects. But like we see him sort of like plug his leg in the bathroom. We see him sort of like using internal GPS. So it's not like he's doing robot stuff, but not like cool robot stuff, right? I got water on my shirt. Now I'm like, smoke is coming out of me.
Yeah, we see him fix his, what did they call it?
His motherboard.
His like motherboard, yeah, like internal system, which if he's, spazzing out essentially because of the water, how is he able to fix it?
Because there is a very like Superman moment where he sort of like comes to the rescue of someone in trouble, and he was like, my prime objective is to like help people. And so he goes and he intervenes in this bully situation. The bully like punches him and basically punches steel and hurts his hand. So I'm like, oh, it's a very Superman moment. I kind of just wanted the movie to
lean into that more.
Yeah, recognize that you have like a robot main character, because otherwise it's like he's just like my dorky brother who doesn't understand like basic sort of human conversation, and dad and sister are not bothering to really like teach him to not take those things so literally either. Because it happens in Terminator, right? Where you have John Connor in the Terminator, and then they unplug his Skynet chip and they reset it so that he can learn more. And then John's teaching him about like high fives, and he's telling him how to like say a dirty joke. And you see in a deleted scene that the Terminator's like trying to smile. And so a lot of these principles are like here, but they're also not really, I think, explored. And maybe that's just like the trappings of a Disney movie, where a Disney movie is not going to really get into the nitty gritty of those situations.
Yeah, and I feel like we see it a little bit because she has, well, to your point of the punchlines, Robyn Lively's character has to repeatedly say, it's just an expression, or that's just a saying, where he's taking those things literally and seriously. So we see the reaction to it, but yeah, we're not seeing the correction for it.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the AI is to like adapt and learn, but it's like, if this is your brother and your son technically, and he's calling you dad, you might as well spend some time like actually teaching him some things. The one situation he tries to teach him is like how to throw a football, and he puts this other kid in danger because his son's got like a bazooka arm.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, there is like a montage kind of in the middle there that maybe is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but sadly, this movie does not have a lot of trivia. So I couldn't really form questions, at least nothing that I felt was like fair for trivia. So we're going to combine our trivia into the bonus trivia, and we'll just read a couple tidbits about this movie.
Time for trivia!
So both Jay Underwood and Robyn Lively would go on to act in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles in 1992, where Underwood portrayed a young Ernest Hemingway who befriended the titular teenage Jones in 3 episodes, and Lively played Jones's girlfriend in Princeton, February 1916. I guess that's the name of the episode. Robyn Lively also took Jay Underwood as her homecoming date after filming this movie. This was Gene Blakely's final film project. As I said earlier, this is an adaptation, loosely adapted from Batteries Not Included. Good movie. Didn't get to talk about it yet. Unrelated, but same title. It's the first novel in Seth McEvoy's Not Quite Human series, and most of the books actually found Chip accused of crimes he didn't commit. And in the case of the inaugural volume, it was the vandalization of the school's cafeteria and the theft of a computer, and that was dropped, and the subplot about Dr. Carson being pursued by Gordon Vogel was created for the film. Tom Scott's score for the film references some cues he composed for the 1982 film Hanky Panky, specifically the themes used for the government agents, which is particularly recycled for the themes used for Gordon Vogel, who is played by Joseph Bologna in this movie. And I liked him as the villain because he seems like this very over-the-top, like, cartoon bad guy. And he is, to the point where he's even wearing, like, a ridiculous fake mustache at one point for no real reason. But he does almost hit a cop car, and the cop gets out, and before the cop can even say anything, I think he's like, what, is it a crime to wear a fake mustache? And so, like, he's so over the top and so zany that he never really feels like a threat. So the stakes are never, like, super high, but knowing that he's, like, kind of, I don't know, what I would say is, like, pretty evil in the context of what his character is doing, right? Like, he wants to kidnap the robot in order to turn him into basically, like, a military weapon. Not even, like, considering that this kid is actually maybe, like, a learned creature, right? And so the movie doesn't do a ton of, like, oh, the robot is evolving and, like, having feelings. There's a little bit, right, where she says, like, oh my God, Dad, I hurt Chip's feelings. And I don't know how she knew that, but it really got her out of her funk, which I think was kind of fair that she was feeling at that time. You know, I felt for her character because it's like, oh, your dad's, like, not super interested. He saddled you with this. Then he made you guilty for not, like, following the guidelines, and, like, he blamed you for this. And I'm like, yeah, that's not fair to her, though. Like, you took a job as a teacher at this school, but, like, you're not going to keep an eye on your son while he's there? You make your teenage daughter responsible for this? Your 16-year-old teenage daughter?
Absent father.
Yeah, because it's like he's not really portrayed as, like, a bad guy in this. He's just a regular dad. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, your wife died and you're not, like, dating somebody new, so there's no friction there with the daughter. It's just, I'm not interested in you as a child, so I'm going to build one of my own that I'm more interested in, and then I hope you're interested in it too, because you're going to have to be involved with this Robo Boy. So, yeah, it's fucked up.
But we should still watch 2 and 3.
Well, I don't know if I want to do this. Do you want to do the bonus wheel? I know we didn't actually do trivia, but you can mess around with the wheel and see what happens.
And then what do we get, though, since there's no trivia?
Well, I don't know. I can spin it a few times just for funsies.
Sure.
All right. Well, there we go. Let's see what the first question off the board is. It's a fun one, at least. So you get to fan cast a modern version of this film. So who do you want in the Alan Thicke role? Who do you want in the Chip role? And who do you want in the daughter whose name I cannot remember, played by Robyn Lively role? Becky Carson.
Ooh. It's hard for me to think of names on the spot. So,
well, who's, like, a TV dad that you're familiar with watching that's a little more modern? You want some Milo Ventimiglia action as scientist dad, and maybe a little Sterling K. Brown as scientist dad?
Maybe. I would say Peter Krause.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he kind of fits the bill.
Especially because I'm still very bitter that he's not on 911 anymore.
So he's available.
For this project. For Chip, that's difficult.
Yeah, I don't know any actors that are, like, that young, but think of maybe someone in their 20s.
Oh, I don't think I'm watching anything with them in their 20s right now.
Who's a good all-American boy?
Hold, please. So for Chip, I'd go with the young Kevin from This Is Us. Logan Schroyer, I think his name is.
Okay.
And then her name's Becky.
Yes.
Okay. For Becky, a.k.a. Robyn Lively, or other way around, whatever, I'd say maybe Elle Fanning.
I mean, yeah, Elle's good in everything she does.
She is.
Probably like too good for a.
I mean,
something like this.
they're all too good for something like this, but you said modernize it, so I did.
That's fair. Yeah, I think Jaden Martell would be a good Chip. He's got the look. I don't know for everybody else, though. Milo Ventimiglia.
I mean, of course I'd put Milo in everything.
He's busy being the face of the new Call of Duty.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Okay.
He's the guy that's on the cover, I think.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. You don't play Call of Duty.
Nope.
I just see it on PlayStation advertised to me sometimes. All right, well, we got through that one, so we'll go to another one off the wheel. Round and round we go. Okay, it's going to be interesting. Which minor character deserves a spin-off, and what would that spin-off be about?
Minor character.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to go with Becky if she's not considered a main character in this.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'd let it be a drama around what she's actually dealing with the loss of her mom, the lack of father support, and having to deal with all of that as a teenager in high school.
Heavy.
Yeah. You know, I love those kind of dramas.
It's fair. I think I would probably give me the two friends. Who's it? Christy Swanson and who's the other one? Jenny, Lily Hayden.
Yeah.
Give me those two and like a Romy and Michelle type of vibe where they're just kind of like the goofy friends at school, and let's watch some of that.
All right.
It's a full comedy. Where it just so happens that there's like a robot boy in their class that they don't quite know about. So that's the subplot, but the main plot is the two of them maybe trying to get dates to the dance.
Yeah, and I want to see how their like goofiness handles finding out he's a robot.
Right? Because they didn't find that out, right?
Not in this one, no.
He was just like, I'm smoking. Leave me alone.
For 6 minutes or 7 minutes.
I've been smoking for 4 minutes and I'm going to quit. Oh my God, Chip. You're so amazing. Oh my God, you got the filthy question. This question pops up all the time now. Should I ask this of my wife?
No. I would say no. I don't know what it is, though.
Okay. You have to human centipede with two characters from this movie, but you have to be in the middle.
Ew.
Do you know what a human centipede is?
I don't know that I want to.
You've not seen Human Centipede? Do I need to describe it to you?
I think that you should.
Okay, so
mansplain this to me.
I'm not going to mansplain. I'm just going to tell you what the movie's about.
Okay.
So basically, there's a German scientist who like kidnaps some people, and then he attaches them mouth to anus.
No.
To make a human centipede.
Can I skip this question?
Only because you're my wife.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, audience. I was hoping.
What would you want my answer to be?
I don't know. I would say if you put Chip in the front, like there's not going to be any poop.
Okay, so
that's
Chip in the
front. Solid answer. But
I have to pick someone in the back?
Yeah. Who's going to be the one attached to your butthole in the back?
Alan Thicke.
Okay. Look, you answered it. There we go.
Right.
We don't even have to do another version of that. All right. See? Look, easy peasy.
All right. Are you happy with this answer as my husband?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Look, it could be worse, right? You know,
who would you pick?
Yeah, like you got to approach it strategically. And I think Chip not really having digestive organs and sort of having like a trash compactor that removes food from him, he might not even have a butthole.
Even better.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, my face will be surgically grafted to his like plastic ass, but in the back, who do I want receiving? Maybe Mr. Bologna. He's an evil person, so
okay,
his character can eat shit.
Okay.
Not the actual person who's not alive anymore. Rest in peace.
Oh,
Mr. Bologna.
That's sad.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. He is not in Grease.
He's not.
I mean, the person I was thinking he was from Greece has a different name.
So he can be in back, but he's got to keep the fake mustache on.
Okay. Moving on. The visuals.
Yeah, I'm surprised. This question has been popping up a lot, and I feel bad because sometimes it's someone's first time on the show, and I'm like, I don't want to have to do this to you, but you agreed to be on the show.
Icebreaker question.
Yeah, icebreaker question. Who do you want a human centipede with? Anyway, we moved on past the wheel, so we're going to go to more or less, and you're going to tell me just one thing that you want more from out of the movie and one thing that you want less of.
I mean, I agree. I would like more of the superpower robotic powers out of that. It would be fun to see more of all of its capabilities. And I would say less of it's going to sound really bad, but I would say less of the like teen whining.
Yeah.
Which I get. We were whiny teens too, I'm sure, at some point. But I feel like it was a lot of time it was just a distraction from what those scenes could have evolved into. And I think it was also just very much the time, like you're talking about with model behavior, because model behavior had a lot of that too. So I think it was just an era thing potentially.
Yeah, model behavior was 15 years after this, but like just can't get away from like how do we write for kids?
And but like why do we teach kids that you should act this way at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things in here that I sort of jotted down was like Dr. Daddy has a very high opinion of himself, but so far is doing a shit job of teaching Chip to do anything. Like when he goes to school and he's like, well, he's my son, so everyone's going to expect him to like be above average. It's like, no one knows who you are. You just started here.
Yeah.
Like, how arrogant are you that you're walking in as a science teacher being like, oh, everyone's going to think my son is special. I'm like, this guy's a fucking D-bag.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say that's probably where I would land there.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I want more superhero type stuff because I think, what was it, Bionic Man my mom had showed me? Or there was like the $6 Million Man as well. The Return of the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman. So that was like more spy stuff as a bionic person, which I thought was cool. And it had like cool sound effects and stuff. And it was like, yeah, this is what robots are going to be doing.
Yeah.
So I would have liked more robot specific cool things and less, I would say less repetitive humor. Like let's fill that space with something that understands that the audience has already laughed at this joke 5 times, and we don't have to go for a 6th one or a 7th or 8th. Like we understand. Chip takes everything literally. We can move on from this.
Yeah,
that's okay. So, all right. Was there anything else that you really wanted to talk about with this movie before we move on?
I don't think so. I think we covered all the bases.
Okay, so the one thing that I wanted to say before we head towards the finish line is that as soon as Chip like comes online and they go upstairs, Alan Thicke is very casually just talking about like, well, I would have to kill him. Like if A, B, or C happened, yeah, we're just going to destroy him. Like right to his face too. And I'm like, this guy is horrible. I'm sorry. Like he is, I know that he's played in a certain way and it's like he's not meant to be the bad guy in this, but like you literally just created a brand new artificial intelligence that you're supposed to be teaching to be human. And within the first 5 minutes of it being self-aware, you're talking about very casually how you're just going to have to destroy him if it falls into the wrong hands.
Yeah. I mean,
cold-blooded.
Yeah.
He's the real villain of the story.
I mean, maybe, especially because the whole point is to make him like a human, right? So if you're trying to get him to feel emotions, And we see, I think he says that after, right? Becky's like, I think he's feeling emotions, or I think I hurt his feelings. Was that before or after? I can't remember.
That's like towards the end where
so
her and Chip kind of have like a fight.
Yeah. So you're already trying to accomplish that he's trying to learn emotions from you. And then that's what you say.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Chip hasn't like learned that like being destroyed is a bad thing, but like they know. And it's like, not only did you like make an AI, you made it like your son to where it calls you dad. And then right after you're like, hey, I'm your dad. You're my son. Guess I might have to kill you if you fall into the wrong hands. Like it's thrown away like so casually that I wrote down, I was like, wow, this is really effed up. But then like a lot of the things too, like I said about him having this like really high opinion of himself and the way he's not dealing with his daughter's needs or his own grief. I'm like, oh wow, is he really like the villain of this story after all? I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, let's go to Critics Corner then. There's no Metascore for this, so we don't have a big board to look at. So we're going straight to the source with Letterboxd, and we're going to hear from the people, which can get messy. But we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to start with a 1-star and work our way up to a 5-star. This is from Lubell80. Gave it a 1-star, says, this starts off okay, but it gets terribly stupid. Well, I mean.
Can you also say when you're reading these what year this was posted?
If I go back to actually look it up, then yes, I can find that.
Oh,
indeed.
does it? Okay, never mind.
No, when you actually rate something, it does log what date it is. So that one was July 16th of 2024, one day before my birthday that year. So I see a lot of reviews. I don't know where the total number of reviews is. That is that's not there either. Okay, I'll figure that out later. So we'll climb the board and we'll go to Garrett. Gave it 2 stars. And this was almost a little over a year ago, January 22nd of 25.
Wow.
It says, every attempt at a laugh is basically the same. The robot kid doesn't understand figures of speech or double entendre, so it's just one long, never-ending series of Amelia Bedelia jokes. Abysmal. The robot kid is supposed to impress the other students, and they all do fall in love with him. None of this is earned credibly through the writing. It's exceptionally awkward. The actors all uniformly overact. Clearly, the direction was either way too hands-off or way too hands-on. It's just not fun. Nothing here really feels playful. Just a dud of an idea with an execution that isn't bad enough to be entertaining or good enough to be impressive. Also, like, what's the deal with the barely addressed B-plot? A toy company is making weapons for the army? Laugh my ass off. Why is this even part of this? Well, I agree with some of that, but I would say that it is fun, actually. It's just... it's fun without being good.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's Garrett with his 2 stars. Let's see, we're going with Beanro Braxiatal from October of 25. So these are all fairly recent within the last couple of years.
How come everyone's watching this in 2025?
Because Letterboxd didn't exist in 1987. So it says, this review might contain spoilers. This was super cheesy, but I expected it to be nothing but. I'd be kind of annoyed if I was Becky and my father's life goal was to make himself an android son. Honestly, she took it better than I would have. The story was pretty weak, in all honesty. Mr. Vogel keeps going on about his prototype, but it's never quite clear what prototype he's expecting. It isn't Chip because Dr. Carson was working on him in his own time, and he steals Chip but is completely unable to do anything with him. I can't wait to watch the other 2. I'd say that's pretty...
Sounds like you.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Except for the I can't wait to watch the other 2 part. I will watch them.
Don't lie. You're
but
excited.
I am not waiting with bated breath. So we'll go to a 4-star review from Brand the Film Fan. This was September of 25. It says, stuck in my mind for 30 years based solely on Jay Underwood's performance. I mark this as watched, but I honestly think I probably only saw this and its sequels in fragments. I know this came on the Disney Channel back in the early to mid-90s when it was basically safe for kids to surf the tube on a summer day. Innocence was a beautiful thing. So this is a very nostalgia-heavy 4 stars, but, can't really blame him for that.
And I pointed that out. This was like an innocence.
Yeah.
Nostalgia thing.
Yeah. And so we're going to, this is Silver J. Watched it on back-to-back days or just entered reviews on back-to-back days, but on February 27th of 2022 says, by far one of the best classics out there. This movie is everything I loved about my childhood. And then the day later, logged it again, said, love, love, love.
All right.
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug.
It sure is.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was fun. I will concede that. I had a good time with it. I would have words with Alan Thicke's character, I think, down the line, the real secret villain of the story.
Wait, was that a 5-star one?
That was a 5-star.
Oh, okay.
So we're at a Critics Corner, and we're going over to the Gateway Drug movie. So tell me, what is a movie that people, who haven't seen Not Quite Human might be more familiar with that would get them to make the leap?
Well, you kind of already said it earlier, but it's not a movie, it's a TV show.
Yeah, what's that TV show?
Small Wonder.
Yeah, Small Wonder's great. I think it's probably also equally as bad as this in all the same ways, but did I watch it all the time? I sure did.
I wish that was also available to stream now, too.
Yeah. I think from what I remember, Becky did more like robot-specific stuff.
I think so, too.
Like you could see like her chassis more often, like the computer was sticking out, she's lifting people up, turning her hand into like a vacuum and stuff.
Moving furniture and stuff like that.
Yeah, oddly enough, another story where a roboticist makes an AI being that he's trying to make human, but then she comes home and she's like their child laborer.
And like housekeeper?
Yeah, she's wearing like a housekeeper outfit.
Yeah.
And she does chores and stuff. It's very strange.
It is.
Yeah, I would have to go back and watch that. They should just make a Small Wonder movie and revisit like how weird that fucking was.
That's true. And also, we kind of grew up with some weird shit.
We did.
And I think the stuff now is even worse. So what does that say?
Yeah,
but
you never know.
In hindsight, I'm like, oh, but the stuff we grew up with was kind of innocent.
Yeah, I mean, look, it had its charms. I don't think it meant to like portray child labor in a positive light. I think it just sort of thought that it was funny to have a robot daughter who also was a vacuum,
I feel like maybe that's why our parents were like, let's make our kids do chores and we'll pay them.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Because do kids do chores these days anymore and get paid?
I don't know.
Or do chores in general and like get stickers on a chart for it?
Yeah. For all the kids that listen to this show, tell me, do you get universal basic income from your parents?
No income and just forced to do chores around the house?
Do you get a stipend? Do you get an allowance?
Yeah, remember allowances?
Yeah, I mean, we did chores and we got an allowance. One time, we had this kind of like tree in front of our house that had these spiky balls on it. We just call it the sticker ball tree. I don't even know what it's really called. But it would just populate these things everywhere. And my mom was like, I'll give you a nickel for each one that you pick up. And I was like, huge mistake, mother. And I picked up thousands of them. I don't know that she actually counted them one by one, but
how much did she give you then?
I don't remember, but I remember her being like, I'm not making that mistake again. Because I was like,
nickel.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go get them out of the street. I'm going to get them from everywhere. I'm picking up every sticker ball in the neighborhood. I'm unsupervised. You can't tell that this one wasn't from our house. So, yeah, if you're going to use child labor, hopefully the child knows how to extort the system in their favor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you want to plug while you're here? The show that we need to work on desperately and get back to?
The show that we need to resume ASAP.
Or Rom-Comathon, which...
Oh, yeah, Rom-Comathon.
Which...
We have a couple more to record for that.
Yeah, if you're a member of the Resistance Frontlines, for $5 a month, you get access to Rom-Comathon and other episodes. Did I publish Family Stone? I don't think so.
I don't think so
I was
either.
working on it, and I don't know that I actually finished it. I might have, though.
We still have to record.
I think I did.
I don't know. I don't see the notifications for it.
Well, because it's a members exclusive, so
true.
You would only see the preview for it. But I'm pretty sure I put the preview up at least for it.
I don't remember seeing the preview for it.
possible that is also the case. Yeah, maybe I didn't do it. I know it was something I was supposed to do this month, but this month got jam-packed with things.
We need to resume hers, his, and ours.
Yes.
Brothers and sisters, so you recognize who that actor is again.
I'll see him. Be like, hey, look at that. He was in that other show that you're watching.
Yep. I think that's it.
All right.
That's all I've got to plug.
It's fair enough.
What do you want to plug?
My goodness. So much. Really, just if you're listening to this, check out the Scheist Podcast Network, all of it. scheistpodnet.captivate.fm, I think. I'm trying to create a RSS feed that holds all of those things. But if you're a YouTuber or someone who likes to consume content via YouTube, I finally got clearance to upload my RSS feed to YouTube. So all of the shows in the network will be coming to YouTube. Unfortunately, only as like static images with audio, but you know, we'll have some video up of things now that the ball is finally rolling. So
yay. I love listening to podcasts while watching them on YouTube.
Well, if you want to watch an image that I created, that's going to be a static image for 2 hours and listen to the podcast.
Sure, but I might wait till you add real videos too.
Well, hopefully that's coming down the line because like an episode like this, there's not even video of, which would be a good one. So
fair.
So yeah. All right.
Cool.
Well, yeah.
Good
thanks,
job.
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Adios, muchacha.
Adios, muchacho.
Thanks to Christen for coming back on the show and sharing one of her childhood favorites with me. I don't know if I would have ever watched this one otherwise, but it was a good time to tackle it during Sci-Fi Month, or in this case, a day after. You can catch Christen and me talking TV over at Hers, His, and Ours, HOURS. See what I did there? And members of the Resistance Frontlines can listen to our Rom-Comathon series, which is still building, but should have a new episode out soon on the Family Stone. We've still got a couple of January stragglers on the way, including Bad Movies Monthly, where there are going to be some announcements. If you are interested in spending even more time together by becoming a contributing member, make sure to take a look at the show notes because sign-up details and the sign-up link are both in there for you. As far as the rest of February is concerned, we are keeping the Bad Movies We Love tradition alive by celebrating horror films here on the show. There is also going to be another Filmmaker in Focus episode coming out in February, and if you listen along, we just might have some surprises for you too. If any of those things sound appealing, make sure that you tune back in throughout the rest of the month and the rest of 2026. I know time is valuable, so thank you for spending your time listening to Bad Movies We Love. Until next time, stay safe, be good, do good, watch movies. Take care, everybody.